Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Leaky here. Are you wondering ways on how to get better at kiting? Well, there are some small things that you could be doing that make big differences in the long term of your kite. And today we're going to be talking about 3 small but underrated kiting tips that I see no one use but are actually very important to your kites. So without further ado, let's get started with the first one. The first tip I want to show you guys is using large walls to your advantage. Now, what do I mean by this? I feel that a lot of people, when they play the game, forget that there's more ways than just pallets and windows to prevent the hunter from getting close to you. Sure, you can use windows and you can use pallets, and yes, that does prevent the hunter from catching up to you, but at the end of the day, that uses resources, that gives the hunter an opportunity to use their ability on you. There are other ways to slow down the hunter from catching up to you, and one of the best ways is using large walls to your advantage. There is such a thing in this game as having too much distance, because if you have too much distance, then whatever powder window you use, they're just easily going to go around, and it's like it didn't even exist. So what do you do to counteract that? You have to let the hunter get closer to you, and you have to do it in a way where there's a big wall in the way of the hunter. So for them to catch up to you, for them to actually get close to you, they have to go around this huge wall. One of my favorite examples is behind the shack on Church. I discovered this so many years ago. Instead of just standing inside the center of the shack and letting the hunter set up whatever abilities they want, like bombs or violin notes or geisha dashes with the butterflies, you could instead go behind the shack. And it seems so counterintuitive because there's no pallets here, there's no windows here. Why would I go back here? The point of going back here is because the hunter anyway can't use their abilities. You don't give them the opportunity to set themselves up to get a damage on you, to get any hit on you. So by the time they go around, you can already see they went around, and you just go around the other side. And at this point, it doesn't matter which side the hunter goes around, you can always just counter them. I have another example here where I was on Leo's memory, Patient against Geisha. So many people say this is a horrible matchup, right? But if you use large walls to your advantage here and constantly block the hunter from ever catching up to you, from ever taking shortcuts, she's forced to take this one singular path to catch up to you along these staircases, then back down. There's no shortcuts here because there's walls in the way preventing her from just taking a shortcut directly to my path. She's forced to always respect these walls and always go around it. And so there's a lot of situations where instead of just running away in a straight line where otherwise you might be letting the hunter catch up to you more easily and set themselves up, you can go behind an obstacle and first let them approach you, but in a way where they're not able to take advantage of it, where they have to go around it to catch up to you, but by the time they do, you're already on the other side, then you're moving on to the next powder window. And by doing that, by letting the hunter approach you closer, then now that next powder you use, then now they have to make a difficult choice. Do I go around it? Do I vault it? Now that they're right in front of it, it's not so easy to just go around it. So that's one of the biggest tips I have in order to get better at kiting. The next tip I have for you guys is knowing when to sacrifice a hit on purpose. Now, what do I mean by this? Some of you might be like, Psyche, that's absolutely crazy. Why would you ever take a hit on purpose? You should always try to keep kiting for as long as you can without taking damage. And yes, that is true, but there's only so much you can do in a certain kiting area. The game is purposefully balanced so that one area cannot be infinitely looped. So, in order to be able to take advantage of your resources the best, you must treat your health as a resource. Because if you don't, I see a lot of people, the way their kites go is they're using an area, they try to use the good pallets and windows, and they use the good pallets and windows, but then they're down to these garbage ones, and they try to use those. They take a hit, of course, because they're hoping for a miracle that just is not going to happen. And then because they didn't set themselves up to go to the next area, instead of trying to go to the next good area and taking a hit and accepting it, they try to use this garbage pallet. Now they're taking a second hit very quickly because they're still in a bad area when they took that first hit. Yes, every once in a while, the trash is near the good area, so it's not that big of a deal, but even on rescues, even something like rescues, I won't drop pallets aggressively in case I get hit, because otherwise I'm going to get stuck in an animation and now I'm not going to make the rescue. Or on kiting, I've used the good pallets, I've used the good windows. I know, hey, unless I get a miracle here, there's no way I'm going to survive a hit here. So know when to take a hit on purpose. Know when you're out of the good resources, accept it, go to the next area, because I promise you that next area is going to cause a lot more headache than you staying in the bad area. trying to make use of a garbage powder window, going for a miracle TikTok play. It's just not worth it. Just go to the next area, know when you've used your good resources, and then take the hit. And you can take this up another level too. You can take this up to the level of knowing when you're going to die. When you know you're going to die and you don't think you're going to survive much longer without the hunter doing a huge mistake, then accept it. Go in the corner, away from your teammates, or put yourself in a spot where when the hunter was chasing you and they're hoping to knock you down quickly so that they can quickly go chase someone else, don't let him. Run away from each other. Put yourself in a spot where even if you get knocked down decently quick, it doesn't matter because you're too far away from your other teammates, and your other teammates just escape, hide, or do whatever it is they need to do to not get seen by the hunter. So very important, knowing when to sacrifice a hit, knowing when you're going to die as well. Very important things, because it really can set a hunter either very backwards or very forwards, very ahead if you die in a spot where they're able to take advantage of you where other people are nearby. So keep that in mind. The last tip I have for you guys is anticipating when hunters walk around pallets. So this goes hand in hand with that first tip about using large walls to your advantage. First, let the hunter come closer to you before you use any pallet or window that they would otherwise easily go around. This goes hand in hand with that. If you're about to use a pallet and the hunter is already far from the pallet, already ready to go around the other side of the pallet, then there's no real point of dropping that pallet, because if they go around it, then all you're really doing is putting yourself in an animation that you cannot stop. And yes, even though it's just a 1 second animation, that 1 second is a big deal in terms of distance where you weren't moving and the hunter was, and they were making ground on you, and you didn't gain anything from dropping that pallet. You don't want to drop it too early, because when you drop it too early, then you cannot easily go on either side of the pallet. You have to put yourself in a vault animation, and then it's much easier to hit you when you vault on either side. So that's a very key thing, anticipating when hunters walk around pallets. Think about if you otherwise left the pallet up, where in a case like that, the hunter went around for basically no reason. You didn't put yourself in animation, so there was no loss. You got net value out of a pallet you didn't use. It's kind of like you going out in the open and the hunter trying to hide behind trees to dodge behind a coordinator flare gun. But if you never shoot, you just only get free distance out of it. It's the same thing. Knowing when not to drop a pallet is the most important thing. And generally, you don't want to drop it when the hunter is like perfectly around the other side of the wall, ready to go around it. You wait. You let the hunter approach. Sometimes you can get an extra loop. Other times you just stand at the pallet and let them get closer. So guys, that'll be all for today. These are the 3 main tips I have that are just sometimes as simple as just running away from the hunter. Not doing anything, not doing any action, just running away from the hunter. So if you guys have any more questions about the game that you'd like me to make a guide about, be sure to let me know in the comment section. I'll be sure to make a guide on it and help you guys get better at Identity 5. For now, guys, that's going to be all for today. Join the Discord if you haven't already. Tune into my streams every Tuesday and Thursday from 20 to 22 EST time zone. And I will see you guys later. Take care. This has been Psyche.